Hi guys, I'm so excited for today's video because today we're going to be reviewing a palette from a brand that hasn't come out with something in quite some time, and this used to be one of my favorite brands back in the day. I discovered them after they came out with their first palette, which was an all shimmer palette that I just fell in love with, and that one ended up being my #1 palette of, gosh, was it like 2019 or something like that? So it's been quite some time and I'm really excited that they've come out with something new. So they sent me their newest palette, which is the Tropical Nights palette, and this is a collaboration with Bri. I will have her channel linked down below. I've been subscribed to her for a very long time. She does really, really beautiful, fun, colorful, playful looks, and she's just such a beautiful person, and I'm really excited for this. I'm excited for her, so congratulations on a beautiful collab. This is such a fun color story and I can't wait to show you some looks. Now I'm only gonna do 3. I've already done 2. One is just like an all shimmer look, which is kind of boring, but I really wanted to make a dedicated video on this palette because I think it is really pretty, and this is still available if it is something that you're interested in picking up. There is also a face palette in the collection, which I didn't get sent, and I'm thinking it's just because she does have a bit of a darker skin tone than me, so maybe that palette just wouldn't be suitable for me, so that is totally fine. But I think the eyeshadow palette is stunning, and I cannot wait to dig into this again, so I'm just gonna jump straight in. I mean, you saw the swatches, they're absolutely stunning. I've been such a fan of Its Bel's shimmer formula ever since I tried them. They've been one of my favorites, so this palette right here is like so very much me. It's very much Bri too, but it's very much me, so I'm just really excited. A little update on the P. Louise primer that I talked about in my previous video. They did send me this just kind of out of nowhere. I did get an email asking to opt in for like a PR package, and I didn't know what they were gonna send me, so I was pleasantly surprised when I got to try this again. But I've been actually liking this one more than the DD Signature primer, and I think it's just because I feel like I've used them now on separate eyes like 3 more times, and I just feel like shadows are more vibrant on top of this primer. Wear time, I would say it's about the same. I usually don't have problems with my mattes wearing off though, and with my shimmers I always use a glitter primer anyway, so it's a little hard to judge wear time on eyeshadow primers because I don't tend to struggle with wear, if that makes sense, especially with the mattes. And I feel like the eyeshadow primer for me is way more important with the performance of mattes than it is with shimmers, just because I always do use a glitter primer or spray my brush. So when it comes to mattes, I definitely like this primer a little bit more, so I'm just gonna keep using this one because now I have it and I've had a really good time with it so far. I don't know if they've reformulated this. Like, is this the same formula they've always had? Because when I first tried their primer, like, God, 6 years ago, I didn't really like it. And I feel like it's better now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering. But what I want to do today is I want to do something with the pink shade, the red shade, and a purple shade. And I think that could be kind of fun. And I want to use this orange shimmer on the lid. I've already used this one. I've used a lot of the blues and greens, so I want to kind of play in the family that I haven't yet used. So we're going to start with, let's start with the pink shade. Now, in the past with Its Bel's mattes, I haven't really been that impressed, but I will say from my experience with this palette so far, which I mean really is not that much, I think that this is the best matte formula they've ever had. Again, I need to, you know, play more with this, but I've had a good time with it, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that if you have also maybe not had like as good of a luck with Its Bel's mattes in the past, I'm not saying that they've been bad. They've never like impressed me to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I love these mattes. But I feel like these are really nice. Like I've had absolutely no issues with them. I think they're nice and pigmented, they perform well, they blend well. And yeah, I just think that this palette in general is probably the best that they've come out with quality-wise. And I also just think that Bri did such a good job with the color story as well. Like her and I feel like have very similar aesthetics and needs in palettes and what we like. So I'm not at all surprised that this palette is right up my alley, because I think it is really, really well curated. It's a fun color story. It's versatile. You can do a lot with it, and it's just fun, you know. It's just fun. We all need to have a little bit of fun in our daily life. So I'm gonna take the red shade here, which is the shade called Big Island, and we'll see how like red this is. I'm gonna do that in the outer portion of my crease, and then I'll deepen this up with the purple after. So I do feel like it's leaning pink on me, but it could be the eyeshadow primer, it could be my skin tone. Honestly, most red shades do lean a little bit pink on me, so just something to keep in mind, but it's still a really, really beautiful color. I'm trying not to like put this on my lip too much because I am gonna go in with a purple, and I feel like purples, I don't know about this purple, but purples in general are not the best at like layering on top of other shades. So if I don't need to layer it more than I need to, I'm just gonna kind of keep them a little bit separate here so that the overlap isn't too much. But these two together, like I love like a pink and red crease. Like it is one of my absolute favorites. I just think it looks so good. That's such a pretty color combination. Yeah, I really like this. So with the same brush, I'm gonna dip into the purple shade, and we're gonna do that in the outer corner of my eye and just kind of see how it ends up looking. I will probably do either this shade or the red shade on my lower lash line as well. Maybe a little bit of the pink, haven't quite decided, but these three colors together are just everything. Like that looks really good, and this seems to be layering very nicely over the red shade, so that is nice. So far not having any issues. I feel like everything is performing really well. I do feel like there are quite a few overlaps here in the color story with my Mighty Monster palette that I did with Odens Eye. Am I crazy? I'll show you kind of like side by side, but I mean, you can definitely see the similarities, right? Like even with the blue and the teal kind of similar. My red is a little bit darker. There's an orange shimmer. There's some green shimmers. Kind of similar vibes, honestly. Maybe that's why I like it so much. That definitely could be why I like it so much. I think it's a really good color story, like not being biased or anything here. Also, my Odens Eye collab is still available if you're interested. I will link it down below. I'm not trying to like take away from Bri here in this video, but since I did mention it, I just wanted to say if you are interested still, you can still buy it. So I'm just going to take some of this purple under my eye as well, make sure I kind of blend it into the outer corner, get the shape that I want. Okay, so far so good. I'm having no issues at all and just genuinely having a really good time with this palette. I'm going to take my NYX glitter primer and we're going to put some of this on before I do the shimmer. And I think I only want to use the orange one. That's just kind of what's calling my name. So I'm just going to do this one. I'm using a MAC brush. If you were wondering, this is the, ooh, this is rubbed off, 242, I think. Wow, I've had this brush for a very long time. It's been a favorite for a long time as well. I think it's just such a good brush for shimmers. And I'm just going to put this pretty much all over my lid here, blend it into the crease, blend it into the outer corner, everywhere, because I just think this is going to look so good. So just to finish off, I'm going to grab some of this shade, which I have used this shade before, but I think it is really pretty. It's a shade called Poi. And I'm just going to do a little bit of that underneath my eye on the lower lash line. I don't want to have a lot of this. I just want to have some color here. Just a little pop of pink. Alright, so the look is done. I did some purple in my waterline because I just thought it would go nicely with like the rest of the look. I really like this. Like, I feel like I've done similar looks to this in the past, but it's just a color combination that is so foolproof and it just always looks good and it makes me feel really pretty. So that's going to be the finished look. I'm going to show you the other two as well. Like I said before, the first one that I did was super simple. I only used one shade and it was the shade Poi that I used a little bit of underneath my eye today. But I didn't have a lot of time that day, but I wanted to still do something very simple and something very pretty. Because I just know that all of these shimmers are going to be honestly great for doing like a one and done look because of the texture of them. They also have that kind of sheer quality to them, which I really like in shimmers. And even though I used to not be the type to do all shimmer looks, I gotta say it's grown on me, definitely. And I think it looks really pretty and I like the look a lot. And then the second look that I did was very colorful. I love greens and blues and yellows together, and you guys know that. So again, probably a look that I've done before, if not multiple times, but I just think it turned out so good and it's a color combination that just works. And I have had such a good time with this palette. I think the quality is really nice and I really do stand by these mattes being the best that Its Bel has ever done, and I really hope that they start coming out with stuff again because I've missed them, you know. I think they're a really good brand. I think they come out with some really fun color stories and fun products, and yeah, I hope this is the beginning of like their sort of comeback, because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about them in a very long time. So yeah, I'm very excited. Let me know if this palette has been on your mind. Did you even know that this palette existed? I think they said that this has been in the works for like a couple of years now, which I would believe that because collabs take quite a while to plan out. So again, congratulations to Bri. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful palette. Congrats to Its Bel as well, of course. I don't know if my affiliated code will work on this. I know they reactivated the influencer program, so I guess try it if you're interested in it, because I do have a code with them. But yeah, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's gonna be it, I think, for this video. If you want to see some more Its Bel content, I think have a playlist I'll put on the screen, and if you are new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.